In southeastern Turkey, artificial intelligence has just finished analyzing something that defies explanation. Using advanced pattern recognition software and three-dimensional scanning technology, researchers have mapped every carved symbol on Göbekli Tepe's massive stone pillars. What the AI discovered has left archaeologists stunned. These aren't random decorations. They're a system. A standardized communication network created 6,000 years before the Sumerians invented writing. And what the computer algorithms found in those patterns is more disturbing than anyone imagined. When German archaeologist Klaus Schmidt began excavating Göbekli Tepe in 1995, he found pillars covered in carved animals, lions, foxes, scorpions, vultures, snakes. For decades, experts described them as decorative art, religious symbols, perhaps totems for different hunter-gatherer clans. No one attempted to read them as actual communication. Everything changed when researchers deployed AI-powered pattern recognition to analyze the complete corpus of symbols. The neural networks weren't trained to see art. They were trained to detect patterns, repetitions, systematic relationships. What they found rewrites our understanding of prehistoric humanity. The AI identified approximately 20 core pictographs appearing consistently across Göbekli Tepe and at least 11 sister sites spanning 150 kilometers. These aren't crude scratches. They're standardized symbols, carved the same way, positioned in similar contexts, repeated across hundreds of pillars spanning centuries. This is what linguists call a semasiographic system, symbols that convey meaning without encoding spoken language. Think about what that requires. Different groups, potentially speaking different languages, separated by days of travel, all using the same symbols to mean the same things. That's coordinated cultural transmission of specialized knowledge across generations. The AI frequency analysis revealed something remarkable. Specific animals dominate specific enclosures. Enclosure A is overwhelmed with snake carvings. Enclosure B belongs to the foxes. Enclosure C shows predominantly boars. Enclosure D displays the broadest variety: vultures, scorpions, lions, cranes, spiders. Statistical analysis confirmed each enclosure represents a different group identity. This is totemism preserved in stone with mathematical precision. But the AI detected something more sophisticated: co-occurrence patterns. The snake and H symbol cluster together on 68% of pillars where both appear. The scorpion almost never appears without at least one bird nearby. These aren't coincidences, they're rules. Different carvers, potentially separated by decades, all following the same conventions. When the AI compared early pillars to later ones, these rules become less strict over time. In Layer 3, symbol pairing follows predicted patterns 92% of the time. In Layer 2, that drops to 73%. By the final phase, it is down to 58%, barely better than random chance. The knowledge was being lost catastrophically. Within 800 years, people went from rigidly following complex symbolic rules to barely remembering them. The AI detected something even stranger. When algorithms mapped enclosures B, C, and D, they found the centers form a perfect equilateral triangle, not approximately equal, but perfect. This requires geometric knowledge and surveying techniques that supposedly wouldn't exist for 6,000 more years. Then there's Pillar 43, the vulture stone. The AI counted 47 separate figures on this single pillar face, more than any other at the site. The three handbag symbols are evenly spaced. The V symbol bands are aligned with precision, varying less than 2 millimeters across 90 centimeters. The central vulture is positioned exactly at the pillar's midpoint. Someone planned this before carving began. Pillar 43 was carved for readers who would recognize the structure and understand the message. In 2017, Martin Sweatman from Edinburgh published research claiming the AI had decoded astronomy, a star map documenting when a comet struck Earth and nearly ended human civilization. The vulture aligned with Sagittarius, The scorpion matched Scorpius. The software identified one date, summer solstice, 10,950 BCE, corresponding almost exactly to the Younger Dryas impact event. The V-shaped symbols aren't decorative, they're numerical, corresponding to a 365-day solar calendar with 11 epigomenal days. Sweatman calculated the patterns encode knowledge of the precession of the equinoxes. Statistical analysis suggested these patterns occurring by chance had less than 1 in 5 million probability. And here's the horrifying part. If the symbols encode astronomical cycles, the message isn't just historical, it's predictive. Whatever disaster struck 12,900 years ago follows a pattern, returns on a schedule. We may be approaching another turning point within our lifetimes, but the German Archaeological Institute published a devastating rebuttal. Sweatman's constellation analysis points to 10,950 BCE, but radiocarbon dating places construction at 9,530 BCE, a gap of 1,400 years. Sweatman assumes Neolithic people recognized Greek constellations 8,000 years before Greece existed. The analysis was selective. Pillar 56 contains 55 animals, but doesn't fit the theory. And excavations found evidence of timber roofs, which would eliminate observatory function. But critics cannot explain the standardization. 20 pictographs appear consistently across 12 sites, spanning 150 kilometers. Even if Sweatman's astronomical claims are wrong, the symbols clearly meant something important enough to standardize across an entire region. When AI analyzed symbol evolution, it found something that contradicts every model of cultural development. The symbols don't become more complex, they simplify. Layer 3 shows the most elaborate compositions. Later pillars show crude imitations, as if people were copying designs they no longer understood. This is inheritance and decline, not innovation and progress. Cross-site analysis found striking consistency. Fox carvings vary less than 6% in size across different sites. H symbols vary less than 4% across 200 examples from 8 sites. Someone was teaching specific proportions, maintaining standards across a regional network for at least 800 years. But we don't know what most symbols mean. We have theories, totemic markers, cosmological narratives, but no Rosetta Stone. The 2025 AI analysis detected higher-order patterns invisible to human analysis. Certain symbol combinations appear more frequently than chance predicts. Neural networks detected what might be compound meanings, symbols that mean one thing alone but something different when paired. Recent discoveries add new dimensions. In 2023, excavators found a painted boar sculpture. Every relief we see today was originally polychromatic. In 2025, a human statue was deliberately embedded in the foundation as an offering. When neural networks compared all sites, they found the same pattern everywhere. Complexity peaks early, then declines, as if the original system was inherited, not invented, as if later builders were maintaining traditions they didn't fully understand. The deliberate burial around 8000 BCE takes on new meaning. They weren't abandoning a site, they were preserving a message, protecting the most important information they had, burying it so it would survive whatever came next, waiting for a civilization advanced enough to excavate and decode it. That civilization is us. We've scanned every symbol with laser technology. We've deployed AI trained to detect patterns invisible to human observation. And we found a standardized communication network spanning 12 sites, 20 core pictographs used consistently across centuries, evidence of geometric sophistication and timekeeping that shouldn't exist in the Stone Age, symbol evolution showing inheritance and decline, and possible encoding of cyclical catastrophe warnings. But we still don't know what most symbols actually mean. The AI can detect patterns but cannot give us meaning without context. We're like people who found an ancient library but cannot read the language. Mainstream archaeology argues the symbols represent totemic identities and cosmological narratives. This is probably correct for most imagery, but it doesn't explain the perfect geometric relationships, the standardization across 12 sites, why symbol complexity peaks first, then declines, or why they buried everything so carefully. Unless there's something in those symbols we haven't fully decoded yet. Something important enough to preserve for 11,000 years. The central mystery remains. What were these people trying to tell us? What message did they encode in 20 pictographs carved across 12 sites? And here's the truly horrifying question. What if Sweatman is partially right? What if the symbols do encode warnings? What if they tried to preserve knowledge of cyclical catastrophes? A message for future civilizations. It happened before, and it will happen again. The AI cannot tell us that for certain. We're dealing with a symbolic system created 11,000 years ago by people who left no written explanation. The AI has shown us patterns exist, that symbols form a system, that knowledge was being transmitted. But what knowledge? What warnings? The stones don't answer. 20 pictographs appearing in consistent patterns, standardized, systematic, deliberately preserved. The oldest communication system in human history. And despite our most advanced technology, we still cannot read most of what they wrote. We know they were telling us something important enough to preserve for 11,000 years, but we don't know what the message says. Maybe the message is simpler. We were here. We built something impossible. We understood more than you thought we could. And whatever knowledge we had, we tried to preserve it because we knew we were losing it. So we carved it in stone, buried it carefully, and hoped someday someone would find it and understand. That someone is us. We found it. We're decoding it piece by piece. The patterns are there. The sophistication is there. And despite everything we've learned, we still cannot fully explain what these people were trying to tell us. Maybe because they weren't at the dawn of civilization. Maybe they were at the twilight, the last remnants trying to preserve knowledge before it disappeared forever. And maybe the truth really is horrifying. Not because of what they couldn't do, but because of what they could do, what they knew, and what they tried so desperately to tell us before their knowledge disappeared into the darkness of forgotten history.